Hey everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Sega Sonic Radio. I'm your host, as always, GX, aka Chris, aka the Spin Dash, and we got a bit of a shorter episode for you. I don't know if the preamble from the previous section will make it into the YouTube version or not. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, a little bit shorter. No quizzes this time, but all of your requests, I have not left out any requests. None that were in by 6:30, we'll say. And with that in mind, we've got some requests, and we've got some, we got some Spinbox. Let's fish around in the Spinbox mailbox. Mail lunchbox. So, kicking it off with Karma Collector 1994, who asks, what is your favorite desert-themed Sonic level and why? What is your least favorite? I usually try to think of a good something beforehand. Being the classic Sonic weirdo I am, being the classic Sonic sicko, like it surprisingly would not be Sandopolis. Honestly, Sandopolis might stand as my least favorite. It's either going to be Sandopolis or the desert. Oh no, the least favorite's probably going to be the desert stage from Sonic 06, where you have to carry Elise. I don't like any of the Elise carrying stages, but that one, I think that one might beat the jungle one. Yeah, if it's Dusty Desert, that's probably it. Favorite? I'll tell you what. The other half of being the classic Sonic fan is probably going to be Sonic Mania's. I'm remembering the name of the track, but not the name of the Mirage Saloon. Thank you. All of my words have lost me. I swear to God, I am a Sonic fan. I have played a Sonic game once before. I just don't remember any of them. So, yeah, I would say probably that is the one silver section of Dusty Desert. You know, Rusty, I have never played the silver storylines. I have played some of the Shadow. I have played all of the Sonic. Maybe I played, like, one level of the silver, and then it was like, oh, this feels bad. Oh, I don't like how slow silver is in this. I hear the evangelizing for Project 06, and I always approach it with a lot of skepticism, but it almost feels like, hey, if I want to have the least reprehensible version of a Sonic 06 experience, it might simply be that. I don't know. But yeah, I think that probably answers. There's a few games that I think have some pretty good ones. Sonic Lost World has its delightful swerve where, inspiring this week's episode name, which is just Deserts, they stick a level right in the middle where it's like, no, it's now dessert, and you go through a food stage not that dissimilar to the one in Sonic Colors. If I was being extremely bad faith, I would have said that one, but no, I feel like I have to at least hold myself to saying something valid. So, with that in mind, we also have a request from Karma Collector, as I bring up my show notes, and it's from SEGASonic the Hedgehog. We also got some Shinobi. That's the 2002 version on PlayStation 2. A request from Mr. Cypher 007. So enjoy some songs. I'll be back in a bit. Hey, welcome back. That was Hot Pursuit from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog arcade game, as requested by the Karma Collector. Followed up by Glyphic Canyon from Shadow the Hedgehog. Wrapping it up with Shinobi from Shinobi. The 2002 version on PlayStation 2, as requested by Mr. Cypher over on the Twitters. Interestingly enough, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, I believe, has its name as it does, or I should say Sega Sonic Radio, so named after the Japanese branding of Sonic in arcades, the Sega Sonic the Hedgehog arcade series, that basically got its name through, I believe, a naming copyright dispute. In which it was sort of, we'll say, I guess, like, there's a Taito arcade game called Sonic Blast Man, and in order to, like, not sort of conflict with trademarks, they effectively made the branding for their arcade stuff Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. So you have, like, the trackball-focused game Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, you have Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop, you have Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter, they would just call it, there's even a Sega Sonic LCD game, that they would just have, like, that would be the branding for it, and there would certainly be no confusion between which one's which if you put the company name as part of the initial word there. So... oh my goodness. So, yeah, we got some more requests coming at you, but first we've got the Spinbox back, and the Spinbox is bringing us a frozen stream. Let's see if we can fix it. Hopefully you have not been frozen on Twitch there, but we got a message in from Clara the Cat, who asks, if Sega decided to do another worldwide game like Unleashed, but with Frontiers combat instead of Werehog, would you buy it? So, my gut reaction... Again, there's a good faith and a bad faith answer to this. I'm going to give the bad faith answer first, which is... as someone who writes for a Sonic website and is generally expected to be up and familiar on what is happening within that space culturally, there are very few exceptions that I make for what I do and do not get for that responsibility. Like, there's silly things that I own for the sake of the site. There are games that I will tell you I do not particularly like that I own because of the purposes of the site. And games that I kind of own because they are interesting in relation to the site. I have a boxed... it's an opened boxed copy, but it is a copy with its original box of Sonic Jam for the Gamecom. I don't own a Gamecom, but I own the cartridge because I think it's interesting, and I think it's weird, and I think it was inexpensive enough for me to reasonably get. I would tell you, if it's a new Sonic game, I will get it. Now, specifically, would I get it if I weren't involved with the site and maybe were not as, like, academically interested in what's going on in the franchise broadly? I would say yes. I might like to know. My issues with Unleashed, and the issues that I have with them, are pretty well centered around things like how that game's camera works, and how that game is structurally, and the pacing of battles, and the repetition of battles for the Werehog, and the way that the level design, in my mind, feels somewhere between mean-spirited and memorization-focused. And based on what I've played of Frontiers, I don't think they would make those mistakes for another attempt to do an Unleashed-like game, if they were starting from scratch. Quite honestly, like, some of the cyberspace stages in the DLC, or the expansion, Final Horizon, reminded me a lot of, like, the more interesting things that Frontier, or that Unleashed did. Unleashed has cool moments. It has interesting moments. It's just that a lot of those interesting moments are kind of wrapped around their BS lack of polish that I do not much care for. But yeah, I would certainly give it a try, or at the very least, I would keep an eye on reviews. So, hope that answers your question, as we also respond to your request, Clara, as well as one from Alex over on the Discord. Kicking it off with some Sonic Rumble, one of my favorite current Sonic game soundtracks. I love the Sonic Rumble soundtrack so much, and boy do I love this specific track. Boy do I love this specific track. I've been accused of just like, hey, GX, you like the ones that sound like Mario Kart music, to which I would say, yes, mea culpa, I like the ones that sound like Mario Kart music. Enjoy. See you on the other side. Hey, that was Desert Ruins from Sonic Rumble, as requested by Clara the Cat, followed up by Back to Soul from Sonic the Fighters, wrapping it up with Sand Road from Team Sonic Racing, as requested by Alex over on the Discord. Gonna continue on with another Spinbox mail, if it cooperates. There we go. Hey, Sonic Trainer asks, what would you order at the Mirage Saloon Zone? Okay, so if I'm there, number one, there's probably one of two circumstances that I'm dealing with. Number one, I could be extremely dehydrated, at which point it'd be like, just please give me water. Please give me water. That would be nice. That would be good. I would like as much as you are willing to part with. But ideally, like what's the ending of the game? It's like they're all having an ice cream party. I would probably get whatever ice cream is ridiculously big, overly big for an order that I probably should not have, especially on my diet. Just whatever they will give me. I feel like that would be, you know, you gotta have something to beat the heat. If it's that hot, you gotta have something to beat the heat. So yeah, we got some discussion in chat. Chili dog and chili dog flavored ice cream. That is a nightmare, Sonic Trainer. That is a nightmare. Alex in chat brings up Chaos Soda. You know, Chaos Soda, you kind of want something like that. Thematic desserts. Let's be real. Everyone here listening, let's be real. We are all big enough dorks to get the Sonic-shaped ice cream with the bad gumball eyes. Anyone here who says otherwise is lying. Anyone here who says otherwise is lying. And with that, thank you, Sonic Trainer. We've got a request. This one is from Sonic Trainer. It's also from Kiana the Hedgehog and Holly over on the Blue Sky. It's one of the rare occasions of a triple. So, yeah. We also got one from MFA. Let's jump into some Sonic Unleashed. Enjoy. Catch you guys in a bit. Hey, that was Arid Sans Day from Sonic Unleashed, as requested by Keanu the Hedgehog, and Sonic Trainer, and Holly. All of the above, followed up by Desert Tour 2021 from Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, wrapping it up with End of the World from Sonic 06, as requested by MFA. Gonna keep pushing on. We've got another Spinbox question. Otwell asks, which is your favorite special stage in the Sonic games? It's Unleashed. Or, no, not it's, Mania. It's Mania. It's just Mania. Like, it's not even close. There is not a close second. It's Mania. Mania is, like, the one that I think is, like, authentically good. Like, real good. Like, I would play more of this as an option on its own good. I think what clinched it for me was the fact that I had played a mod that replaces the stages in the special stage tracks with the tracks from the original Super Mario Kart on SNES. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's why I like this so much. That's why I like this so... Yeah, the UFO chasing one, D-Days. Specifically that one. I like Blue Spheres fine. I think Blue Spheres is kind of neat and interesting. I think Blue Spheres outstays its level of interest. I think that them making a whole sub-game around it in both Mania and in, like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles are... It might be too much of that, but I won't deny it is interesting. Sonic 2 has the issue where it's like... It's a neat novelty, but it does ask you to basically memorize the stages, and Sonic 1 has the issue of, like... It's just so hard to control. Like, it's hard to do anything with a lot of agency in that. Sonic Superstars, oh boy, I have issues with the Sonic Superstars one. It feels hard to do anything in that to try to keep up or cut corners or whatever it wants to do. Anything by Dimps always feels extremely punitive. Like, I can't handle the Dimp stuff. There are some, like, you know what? You know what? Maybe Sonic 1 on Master System and Game Gear got it right. Maybe the real way to do it is just like, I don't know, hide an emerald, it's in the stage. You have to find a weird spot in the stage to actually get to it, but it's just in the stage there. It's good. It's good right there. You just find it, and then you can get a good ending, and it's cool. Yeah, Rush Adventure is kind of interesting. I don't have strong feelings about the Triple Trouble one, but I will tell you, Triple Trouble 16-bit has a reinterpretation of special stages that is pretty darn cool, and I recommend checking it out. Triple Trouble 16-bit, as I said. Basically a linear path where you are attempting to chase... you are attempting to get to an emerald before Fang. It's real cool. I recommend checking it out. So yeah. And we got plenty sharing their experiences in chat. And hopefully, hey, anytime we got a Spinbox, you are always welcome to mention something in the comments if you have your own perspective on these. Absolutely and for certain. And let's go ahead. Despite just enjoying the saloon car music happening right now in the background, I just don't want to change it. But we have requests! We have requests, including one from Otwell. We have one from Otwell, and we have one from Knuckles87 on staff, so let's step away from Saloon Car and head over to Sonic Riders. Catch you guys in a bit. Enjoy some music. Hey, welcome back. That was Sand Ruins, as requested by Otwool on the message boards, followed up by Royal Desert Zone Act 1 from Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2, wrapping it up with Sand Hill from Sonic Adventure, as requested by Knuckles87, our fine new staffer. And yeah, as brought up in chat, second time we've heard this song tonight. It came up a little bit earlier in remix form via Sand Road as part of Team Sonic's Racing. Team Sonic Racing is what the game is called. We got one more. So we already had Keanu the Hedgehog's request in earlier tonight, but because things doubled up, I had to move the Spinbox question out of the way a little bit later. Not out of the way, a little bit later. Keanu the Hedgehog asks, if IDW makes a Sonic the Hedgehog and Indiana Jones crossover comic at some point in the future, what kind of adventures would they go to? I guess the first answer is very expensive ones. Thank you, K-Buki. Microsoft Team Sonic Racing. That one is impossible to play. It's just absolutely impossible. Bugs you constantly. Tries to make you engage with co-pilot. It's just miserable. Like you try to load up the reaction animations, and it just takes like 2 seconds to load the list. It's just terrible to work with, but the game makes you engage with it. So yeah, some sort of Sonic the Hedgehog and Indiana Jones crossover comic. Like, I don't actually know if there's any sort of Indiana Jones comic at this point. I'm assuming there's not, and if there is, I would also assume it's, I don't know, maybe through Marvel or something? That would make the most sense, because they are, it would be a Disney property. The most synergistic thing would probably be something along the lines of like, we need to find the Chaos. Oh, jeez, I'm just describing the DC crossover. We need to find the Chaos Emeralds. I mean, I could tell you, Indiana Jones, as he is continuously portrayed by Harrison Ford, would be very grumpy and cynical about the experience. He probably would not like to. Be around a bunch of anthropomorphic animals. He would get very agitated with them constantly. The difficult part would be the part where it would be that, like, you would have. The challenge would be, I don't know if I would want a storyline where Sonic has to fight literal Nazis. Because that's kind of Indiana Jones's whole thing, is he fights literal Nazis. Historic ones. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me as a crossover, but, you know, there's definitely been spiritual stuff. Chat has in multiple times, specifically Sonic Trainer has brought up that like, hey, they've done homages in prior Sonic comics, the Archie series, to Indiana Jones type stuff. Indiana Jones is so culturally ingrained that you could kind of just homage it without necessarily doing a direct crossover, and it would probably make a lot more sense. Like, I think at Sonic Frontiers, he had adventure gear that was not far removed from that, and Knuckles' treasure hunting outfit isn't that removed from it either. It's very much inspired by sort of the 1930s, 1940s pulp adventure hero get-up. In a way that, like, you know, like, is culturally identifiable. His OVA hat, yeah, that one. It's OVA hat, but like in modern times, they've sort of reinterpreted it as sort of a full treasure hunting outfit rather than simply the hat. That went on a little bit longer, so let's go ahead back to the music. So that the requests don't play without me. We've got requests from Mio, and we've got requests from Pocket Ellery coming up, including this one from Shining Resonance. It's the Floating Mirage, requested by Mio. So enjoy. Catch you guys in a bit.
all that's known. Legends blurred and torn. No such thing as an arrow through dreams. Hopes may burden but forever last to give in. So many things need a push or pull to begin. Aren't free to move unless another hand gets in. Be it all the same, it's never the same. Just like that, it's nothing, it all just means. Nothing, it all just means. If all as is, then it's never as is. Back to back, make real of all that seems. Make real of all that seems. Seven rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. Seven rings in hand, wonders all under command. Seven rings in hand, wild with just one single hand. Seven rings in hand, arrowed hearts catch fire now. Memories that dance, fairy tales in trance. Know what to believe, nothing's up to chance. Make believe reborn, missing mind rethought. Question all that's known, legends blurred and torn. Seven rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. Seven rings in hand, wonders all under command. Seven rings in hand, wild with just one single hand. Seven rings in hand, arrowed hearts catch fire now. Seven rings in hand, nights with feet in sand. Seven rings in hand. Seven rings in hand. Make believe reborn, missing mind rethought. Question all that's known, legends blurred and torn. Seven seas in hand, speed of sound through sands. All our hopes and plans in one single hand.
Hey, welcome back. That was The Floating Mirage from Shining Resonance, followed up, of course, as requested by Mio over on Twitter. Followed up by JJ Rocket, Blazy Mix from Sonic Rush, wrapping it up with Seven Rings in Hand, the main theme of Sonic and the Secret Rings, as requested by Pocket Ellery. Hey, wrapping it up for tonight. Like I said, just a little bit early, but honestly, only just a little bit. So, yeah, hey, my opinions are our own, but the show broadly is under the banner of Sonic Stadium over at sonicstadium.org, one of the internet's longest-running Sonic fan communities. We got a Discord, we've got message boards, we've got plenty of news coverage, we've got videos, we've got streams. You might be watching it right now on the channel. We've got streams coming up next week. I don't know what, I don't know when, but most importantly, we have a lot of old streams that will be hitting YouTube hopefully sometime this week. I've already started working on lining things up to get them out. I know we have a bit of a backlog, but it's being worked on, and who knows? Maybe if I can figure out how to record a board game being played in any rational way, that might come out. That might be a thing, but I don't know. That sounds hard, and I don't know if I can do it, but we'll try. MFA? Oh, did I forget one? Did I forget? Oh, let me see. I might have missed that you submitted one, MFA. Oh, I did miss that you submitted one. We'll do it before the last song. I apologize, I don't have any fancy graphics, but I am seeing where it is, and I somehow missed it on the list. MFA writes, should Sonic get DLC and Tony Hawk's and SpongeBob and Ninja Turtles have had cameos in the game with skate parks themed after them? I would say... I think it would be neat. I have had this opinion for a while that, like, I don't necessarily think modern Sonic should be themed after what they should be chasing necessarily what they've been doing in the boost-style games or the, like, the adventure-style games. I've kind of felt like, hey, if you're gonna design a Sonic game in modern era, it should probably take a lot of inspiration from skateboarding games. That seems like the most apt place to draw inspiration from. And we've seen Sonic do boarding a lot, but a lot of it's just like straightforward downhill stuff. Whereas classic Sonic almost feels like a skate park. It feels like a skate park with ramps and jumps and like things to ride on and passages to go through. It feels designed so that you can figure out how to make physics work for you in the way that a skate park does. And I think it would make sense to just have like a Sonic and like a Green Hill or City Escape skate park or something. Something I would like to see. The only time he's really done like skate park, like literal skate park type stuff, is in Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which is kind of surprising. It's not the first time he's done skateboard stuff, but skate park stuff, like literal skate park stuff. Yeah. There's a Metal City skate park and Speed Simulator. Yeah, I could tell you comfortably, I have not touched Speed Simulator since the first time I streamed it more than a year ago, just with how it did not jive with, like... I didn't love the content at the beginning, and I don't think I'm going to love how it is structurally now, and I'm sure I'm definitely not going to love the stuff that has continuously come out about their about its developer and about like just its monetization strategies, which, like, hey, I understand it sucks to have to work within the Roblox ecosystem. Roblox is an extremely unfortunate ecosystem to work within in terms of actually making money, but also there are so many circumstances where Roblox just puts in front of you, and it's not just them, it's so many games. I was watching a Jeff Gerstmann stream, Jeff Gerstmann, formerly of GameSpot and Giant Bomb fame. He periodically checks in on Roblox, and the largest thing he kind of took away from the experience was, like, anything you want to do with it, it's going to repeatedly smack you in the face. Whoever is designing the obi for it is repeatedly going to smack you in the face. It's like, hey, you want to spend some Robux? Hey, you. But really, no, really. You want to spend some... Do you want to, like, take something from another player? It's just a couple of Robux. What if you want to subscribe to additional fashion items in this fashion game? Just, you know, a couple Robux. Just a couple of Robux. Just give us a few. Just a few this time. We might not even tell you what we're going to use those Robux for, but, you know, Robux. Just please give us Robux. Please give us Robux. Well, I'm never going to ask you for Robux. All I'm going to ask you to do is, hey, we don't We do not monetize this show in any meaningful way. We really don't monetize the Twitch stream in any meaningful way either. And we kind of survive by word of mouth. If you had a good time, let someone know that you had a good time, and if you think they would enjoy it too, let them know as well. And always keep sending in those requests. Probably a normal length episode next week, although at this point, I can't deny this was pretty darn close to normal length, despite having less segments. But we're gonna wrap things up with an OC remix, one that you can find over at ocremix.org, along with so many others. This one specifically on the Project Chaos Sonic 3 and Knuckles album. Rending tonight with Live at the Sandopolis by Brain Cells. Hope you enjoy, and I will catch you guys next week. Peace. I feel kind of silly for not putting this in somewhere. Let's just do one more song, and then we'll head out. supposed to happen. I don't do this often, but hey, I'm gonna raid. Uh, Basically, I'm gonna raid the place that I'm going to be watching in the background as I do some news write-ups and some other stuff. So, hey, gonna check out some Mario Party at or no Mario Party Monthly over at Nintendo World Report. So, let's raid. See you guys next week.